From 1939 to 1945, the world was engulfed in the global conflict known as World War II or the Second World War. The war involved a majority of the world's nations, including the great powers, who aligned themselves into two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. In pursuit of victory, many countries channeled their economic, industrial, and scientific resources into the war effort, blurring the line between civilian and military resources. The use of aircraft played a significant role, allowing for strategic bombing of civilian populations and the deployment of the only two nuclear weapons used in war to date. The human cost of World War II was staggering, resulting in 70 to 85 million fatalities, most of whom were civilians. The war was marked by genocide, including the Holocaust, as well as widespread death due to starvation, massacres, and disease. In the aftermath of the Axis powers' defeat, Germany and Japan were occupied, and war crimes tribunals were conducted to hold German and Japanese leaders accountable for their actions. There is ongoing debate regarding the causes of World War II, but several contributing factors have been identified. These include the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, Spanish Civil War, Second Sino-Japanese War, Soviet-Japanese border conflicts, the rise of fascism in Europe, and tensions stemming from World War I. However, the war is commonly said to have begun on September 1, 1939, when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. On September 3, the United Kingdom and France declared war on Germany in response. In August of 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union had agreed to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which involved the partitioning of Poland and the delineation of spheres of influence across other nations, including Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. From late 1939 to early 1941, Germany, in alliance with Italy, Japan, and other countries forming the Axis, conquered or gained control over much of continental Europe through a series of campaigns and treaties. As the war progressed, campaigns and battles took place across multiple regions, including North Africa, East Africa, the Balkans, and the skies over Britain during the Battle of Britain and the Blitz. The conflict continued primarily between the European Axis powers and the British Empire. However, on June 22, 1941, Germany launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union, opening the Eastern Front, which became the largest land theater of war in history. In 1937, Japan began its war with the Republic of China as part of its goal to dominate Asia and the Pacific. By December 1941, Japan launched near-simultaneous offensives against American and British territories in Southeast Asia and the Central Pacific. This included a devastating attack on the U.S. fleet at Pearl Harbor, prompting the United States and United Kingdom to declare war on Japan. In solidarity, the European Axis powers also declared war on the United States. Initially, Japan made significant advances in the Western Pacific, but suffered a critical setback in 1942 after losing the Battle of Midway. Germany and Italy were also defeated in North Africa and Stalingrad, respectively, during this period. Throughout 1943, key setbacks for the Axis powers, including a series of German defeats on the Eastern Front, Allied invasions of Sicily and the Italian mainland, and Allied offensives in the Pacific, resulted in strategic retreats on all fronts. In 1944, the Western Allies launched a major invasion of German-occupied France, while the Soviet Union regained its territorial losses and pushed Germany and its allies back. Meanwhile, Japan faced reversals in mainland Asia, while the Allies crippled the Japanese Navy and captured key Western Pacific islands. These losses continued through 1945, ultimately resulting in Japan's surrender and the end of World War II. The conflict in Europe reached its conclusion with the liberation of German-occupied territories and the joint invasion of Germany by the Western Allies and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union's capture of Berlin, Hitler's suicide, and Germany's unconditional surrender on May 8, 1945, marked the end of the war in Europe. Meanwhile, in the Pacific theater, Japan's refusal to accept the terms of the Potsdam Declaration led to the United States dropping atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6 and 9, 1945, respectively. Faced with the possibility of further atomic bombings and the Soviet Union's entry into the war, Japan announced its intention to surrender on August 10, and signed a surrender document on September 2, 1945. The aftermath of World War II brought significant changes to the global political alignment and social structure, shaping the international order of nations during the Cold War and beyond. The establishment of the United Nations aimed to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts, with China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States becoming permanent members of its Security Council. The emergence of the Soviet Union and the United States as rival superpowers marked the beginning of the prolonged Cold War. The devastation of Europe resulted in the decline of its great powers, leading to the decolonization of Africa and Asia. Countries with damaged industries focused on economic recovery and expansion. Political and economic integration, particularly in Europe, was initiated to prevent future conflicts, resolve pre-war hostilities, and foster a shared sense of identity.